Okay, once again we are here. Once again we are here. Let me see. Let me wait to see how the guys are joining. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. You can invite your friends. You can remind your friends to join us. You can remind your friends to join us on the stream. We are on, and we will be on for the next. Let's see if we can make it 1 hour today. Let's see how far we can go. Let's see how far we can go today. Maybe we can make it 1 hour today. So welcome. Let me see if, let's try to make it to 10 online, then we start talking. Once we have 10 people online, then we can start. But as you're coming online, if you have any question or if you have anything that you like us to talk about, please just send it as a comment. Just send it as a comment so I can just take note about it, or if I have to make more findings right away, I can do that while we're waiting for the others to join. So welcome, guys, welcome. Please, as you come on, let us know from where you're watching us. Let us know from where you're watching. Thank you for joining the stream. Let me know from where you're watching, and if possible, maybe you can tell us about your university. Welcome, Ali Mukhtar. Welcome. Please let me know from where you're watching us, from which country you're watching us from. And if possible, you can tell us your university. Let's wait for the others to join, then we can start our conversation. Where you're watching, and if possible, maybe you can. I hope we have a better connection today. I hope we can have a better connection today. I just pray we have a better connection today. Welcome, Ali Mukhtar. I hope we can have a better connection today, guys. Let me see. Let me see how many people we have. Let me see how many people we have. Okay, guys, so we have Alan Satri. Welcome. Please let me know where you're watching me from. We have Alan Satri. Welcome. Please let me know where you're watching me from. Let me know from where you're watching me from. So like you saw on the post that I made, I have a few things that we'll be talking about today. If by any chance, if someone is on the stream who is watching us from, or who is from Henan University, or who has anything official about the news from Henan University, please indicate to us. And if you want to come on, I'll share the link. I'll share the link to anyone who wants to come on to join us. Anyone who wants to come on for us to talk, please, this is the link. I've shared the link just now. You can come on so we can have a one-on-one talk, maybe so that others can also hear you. You can share your experience. If you have any official information from your university, if you have any official information from your teachers, from your embassy, let's talk about it. You can share that with us as well. If anyone wants to join, please just click on the link that I've shared. You can come on. Then we can share. Let's wait. Let's see if we can have up to 10 online. Then we can start saying something. I have a lot for us to talk about today. So if there is anyone who wants to come on to share anything about their country, about their university, because like I said, the main objective of this live stream is not to come and tell you that students will come to China in September. It's just that people can share their different experiences. Once you are sharing your experience from your country, from your embassy, from your university, another person is watching from somewhere. Maybe someone is watching from somewhere in the world, and that gives the person some hope. There are some people who are not so connected to the internet. There are some people who are not so connected to the news. So when I organize streams like this, it's not to come and tell you that students will come to September, that students will come this time. It's just so that I give some hope to those who are like hopeless, and also to remind you guys that you don't need to worry a lot about when students will come. Just be patient, and before you know it. Okay, let me see. We have a comment here. Let me share it on the screen from Shabibi, I think. He said, I've contacted the Chinese embassy in my country. They said that China is working on a policy to the return of international students. Well, at least this is something hopeful. At least they were able to reply you, and they say China is working on something. But did they say anything like when they just said China is working on a policy? Did they give you any specific timing? Please, let's just talk about that. Then another question here, or another person from Alan Satri. Just want to share some information to you, bro. Today I had Shumu meeting, Xian Jiaotong Liverpool University, to discuss about how the semester will be held. Okay, please, you can share with us about this information. Alan, if you want to come online, please, I'll be so grateful to have you, Alan Satri. Just click on the link and come online and share with us so that others who are watching us from all over the world can hear about your university. Maybe some information from your university can bring light to us. Do you want to come online? I have the link. Alan Satria, please. You want to come online to share us the information? The university staff informed that the government will not change the regulation until early 2021. So you see, this is some substantial information. So he is saying that his university said the government will not change the rule until early 2021. This is exactly what I was sharing with guys, that we should not hope too much for this September. So when you say early 2021, we're talking about the March intake. We're talking about March intake, which means that something positive might only come up next year in March. At least this is some hope. This is some hope. So if there is someone else watching us who would like to join the stream or who would like to share more information, let's see if we can have more people. Another person says, when China allow medical international students because clinicals are not taken online. Yeah, we know so well that clinicals cannot be done. We know that clinicals cannot be done online. But like I said in my previous videos, if they're going to be in badges, we think that those who will be considered first will be those who are maybe doing practicals or internship, clinicals, and so on, lab work. And these are mainly MBBS students and maybe PhD and master students who need to go to the lab to finish their graduation process. So if there's anyone, I shared the link. If there's anyone who would like to come on to join us to share something substantial, and also especially anyone from Henan University, because I saw the news on the on social media platform. It was not official, but I saw WeChat, I saw WhatsApp messages people were sharing how the university is asking them for information that some of them might return in September. I did not get anything substantial as far as this news is concerned. But from my own observation, I've said this in a video and I would like to say this again. The information will come not from the major information will not come from the university. That's from my observation. The first information will come from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Yeah. Then the universities will be informed, and then the embassies will be informed. So whatever the university is telling you now is just to be prepared, to get the vaccine, to give you hope. But any official information will likely or mostly come from the government officials. Can we come back this year? Abi from someone says, can we come back? Yeah, I've said this again. Abinada Tower. I don't know from where you're watching me from. Can you tell me where you're watching me from? I want to ask you for some advice on how we can continue our semester online. It is very difficult. Well, this is really complicated. I don't know, what course are you doing? Are you doing something that you need to go to the lab? Are you doing something that needs like practical? Because from all indications, students might not be able to return in September. So my biggest advice for students is that all the practical work can be suspended. Yeah, all the practical and lab works can be suspended so that when you come to China, you have a very short period to finish your work. So that by the time you come to China, might be you just have the practical work left. So just continue with the online classes as okay. Yeah, MBBS, please tell me, when will we go to China? I'm from Bangladesh. It is really impossible for us to say when students can go back to China. What we're doing here is just trying to share information that students have from different countries and from different parts in the world. Yeah, like I said, and I'm going to say this again, I'm not doing this live show to tell students when they will return to China. I'm doing this live show so that students can share their different experiences. Yeah, so that people from all over the world, people watching me from different countries, they can share their different experiences. They can share with us. Like someone have just said it clearly for us here from Xi'an Jiaotong University that they already had a meeting, and the university has clearly told them that they are not going to return to China this year, and it's only early next year. So you see, this is substantial information. Next year is not far. We just have like 6 months to go, and once the year is over, before you know, it's next year. So let's say we just have one more semester to do online, and everything will go back to normal. That is our greatest wish. I'm doing MBBS course. You're expecting date from foreign embassy. So is there someone who would like to come online to share with us? I see we have 7 people, 9 watching us. Is there anyone who wants to come on and talk? Just click on the link and come on so we can share something. Especially if you have something, maybe some news from your university, if you have some news from your embassy. I think there is no chance this year. Yeah, like I said, the chances for this year are really slim. Okay, now, so since there is no one from Henan University, now let's go to the case of Pakistan. Let's go to the case of Pakistan. If anyone is watching us from Pakistan and would like to give us more light about how the data information is going, after you submitted the information to your embassy, did you get any reply? Or has there been anything said more from that? Is anyone from Pakistan who wants to share with us about that information? And how widely are students responding to that? Do you think a lot of students have filled the information already? Do you think there are some students in Pakistan who don't know about that? Maybe this is an opportunity for you to share with them. You can share the live stream so that we have more people to come online. I think there is no chance this year. Yeah, I think this year it's a little bit tricky because we think that we just have a month to September, and if nothing has been said for September, then definitely it might only be early next year. And also, we know China will host the Beijing Olympics in February and March. I think between February and March. So that is also a very technical year for the country, with the Beijing Olympics at that period. So we think that anything substantial might come up almost after the Olympics. That will be, say, in April, like March, April. That is when the next semester will start, the March intake. In Cambodia, my teacher said there is a high chance. Someone says, in Cambodia, my teacher said there is a high chance of going in February next year. Yeah, you see, this is just what I was just explaining just now. This is someone from Cambodia. He said the teacher said there is a high chance of going next year. But when your teacher said next year, did he say if it is early next year or late next year? Because next year, is it during the March intake or during the September intake? Because for me, I know that the March intake, it's like 50-50, or maybe a few batch of students might go. But for September next year, the chances are very high. Then we also have Imran who says, yes, mostly students submitted registration form, but still no response from the embassy. Yeah, I think if the students have submitted the registration form, that is a good sign. So let's just wait to get the outcome from the students. I think that was a good sign from Pakistan. Then if someone is watching us from another country apart from Pakistan, Bangladesh, and India, apart from these three countries, please let us know. If you're watching us not from Asia, if you're watching us from maybe somewhere in Europe, or you're watching us from somewhere in Africa, please just indicate. Let's see if we are going wide. March intake. Oh, so they said March intake. Yeah, March intake, we have high chances that students might go back from March intake. But from my observation, oh, we have someone from Mauritius. Mauritius. Okay. Okay, you watching us from Mauritius. Do you have any information, or which university are you from? And is there anything, or has they said anything from your university or from your embassy? Do you have any information? Please, I would like you to share to the forum so that at least people will know that people from all over the world are waiting to return to China. Like I said, this platform is not to tell you when you will return. This platform is for us to share our different experiences and share the different information that we get from our different universities so that people will get some hope. This is just a way of sharing hope for students so that students will not be so disappointed and to the extent of doing, I don't know. Okay. Then someone says, if we go to March 2020, then Chinese government announced something about us in December, but in February China has Olympics. So how can we go back? Yeah, the Olympics will not last for a very long time. The Olympics will last for maybe a maximum of 2 weeks. So that's why we're thinking that if the Olympics is in March or February, March, so by the end of March, the Olympics will be over. So that's why we think that after the Olympics, the chances will be very high. This is just our observation. We're not saying anything from an official perspective. Like I said, this platform is just for us to share our different experiences, share the different information from our different embassies, from our different countries. Okay, so, and also for those of you who have been watching the internet and who have been following Chinese news, now another city is almost in lockdown in China. We have the Delta variant that is affecting Nanjing recently, and you see, China was getting almost comfortable, but you see the virus is coming back from different angles. Just a few weeks ago, it was in Guangzhou. Guangzhou was locked down for a couple of weeks, and they sorted out the issue in Guangzhou. And now there's another very serious case in Nanjing. Although it has been handled and almost the whole city has been tested and they've sorted out all those who were involved, we think that the city is under control. So you see, people were thinking that the country is almost completely safe and everything is going so well without any problem. But we see it is not completely safe, like we said. So you see, there's still a lot of precautions that are being taken. Okay, then someone said Nanjing Medical University. When I asked my lecturer, they said the Delta variant kind of deteriorates the possibility of the return of international students. This is just what I was talking about just a few minutes ago about the Delta variant that just hit Nanjing a few weeks ago, and Nanjing now is under strict control. So they were already expecting everything to be back to normal. But just a few weeks ago, Nanjing was hit again by the Delta variant, and the city is almost under lockdown now as we talk. And someone here from India says, I'm from India now. COVID situation in India under control, but I saw many sources that until December, COVID third wave is back. Then China called this. I don't understand. Yeah, so we think that this year is proving almost not possible for students to return. But it doesn't mean that the hope is gone, because the country is doing everything possible to fight the virus. Vaccinations are going on perfectly well and everything is under control. And someone says, if the virus is still spreading, I think this is going to be so hard to get back to China, depend on each country's cases. Yeah, of course, that is why we encourage people to go get their vaccine. That is why we encourage people to get their vaccine, because even if China sorts out everything and all the cities in China are under control, if the rest of the world is not under control, we think that it will be difficult for students to return. If you're from a country where the virus situation is worse, then it might be difficult for you to return. So as China is doing its part fighting the virus, we hope that the other countries are also doing their part, so that by the time that the country is set to call back international students, you should not be from a city where, or from a country where the Chinese government will consider it as a very high risk zone. Okay, then we also have the Chinese embassy in Mauritius said that when Mauritius will fully open its borders in October, then only students might have a chance to return. That is in October. October is not far from now. So you see, that is some hope. It's not like all hope is gone. October is just like in 3 months from now. Okay, we also have Akko Yvette. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for tuning in from Cameroon. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining the stream. At least I'm happy that I have people watching me from all over the world to share with us. Do we have anyone who's watching us from any European country? If anyone is watching us from any European country, please let us know in the comment section. Let's see how far we're going. Then let's go to our next talking point. Let's go to our next talking point. The next thing I would like us to talk about today The case of MBBS students. That is the next point. Online classes for MBBS students. This is the next point I would like us to talk about. Online classes for MBBS students. Okay, before we go to the online classes for MBBS students, someone said, I've contacted the Chinese embassy in my country. They said they're working on a policy. Okay, we talked about that already. Then someone said the Chinese embassy in Mauritius said, oh, okay, I've read that already. Okay, now let's move to the next point of our live session today, and this is about online classes for MBBS students. You know, during our last stream, someone asked me about if online classes for MBBS students are valid or not valid. And I told the lady I was going to find more information to know if online classes for MBBS students are valid or not valid. Honestly, when I went online to find out this information, it was very contradictory because I saw articles that were saying that online classes for MBBS are not valid. And then again, I saw other articles that were saying that online classes for MBBS are valid. And then some of the articles that were saying online classes for MBBS are valid, they were producing official documents. And then another article will come and say the official documents are fake. So you see, it was really contradictory. If you have time, go to my channel and watch the video where I talked about is online classes for MBBS valid or not valid. And if you're someone who is also keen, just go to the internet and try to do a little bit of research. You're going to see it was a little bit contradictory. So if there is someone who is watching us from India who has anything substantial as far as this is concerned, please share with us. I did a whole video. I did my research before doing that video, talking about online classes for MBBS. You know, for those who are doing maybe management, business, and other theoretical courses, they might not have problems with online classes. But for those who are doing things like MBBS and maybe engineering and PhD students who need to go to the lab, maybe online classes might be an issue. But it made it very clearly that because of COVID-19, because of the virus, countries have accepted online classes for MBBS. And that this is going to be only during this period, which means that students who will have online classes that were done during this COVID-19 period, these online classes are valid. And when the borders will be open, then you will do now the practicals. I saw a lot of information that was confirming this. That online classes for MBBS students is valid. So if someone has anything to talk to us about this topic of online classes for MBBS students, or if you have any information about this, please let's share. Like I said, this is the objective of this live session. The objective of this live session is to share information. Is to share information with because there's some people who don't have the opportunity to get much information like this. So if you have the opportunity to come online like this, please let's share the information because we share and we learn. We share and we learn. Let me see if we have more students who are talking. Okay, so if no one is talking about the case of MBBS students, it means that everyone is satisfied and everyone is okay with the fact that MBBS students can do their the classes online and that it is valid. So if you're watching me, please share this information to your friends who are being scared that maybe their MBBS classes are not valid, or that maybe they might not be able to get into the medical corps after graduation because they did MBBS classes online. No, we've made that very clear. Okay, so I'll be moving to the next point of our discussion. And the next point of our discussion will be about priority of return. Priority of return. Yeah, like if the government wants to take priority of students to return, what are the things that they will consider before giving this priority? Is it going to be in terms of your course, or is it going to be in terms of whether you're vaccinated or not, or in terms of whether you're coming from which country? The things that I've gathered, the information that I've gathered, the first thing about priority of return will be vaccination. That is the first thing. You should not bother a lot about which vaccine to take. But like I always say, if you have the opportunity to take a Chinese-made vaccine, that might do you more good, or you might be in a better place. But if you don't have the opportunity and there is a WHO approved vaccine in your country, that will also be a good chance for you. As long as the vaccine that you're taking is approved by the World Health Organization, you don't need to worry too much that it is Chinese made or not Chinese made. As long as it is approved, because even the Chinese made vaccines are approved by the World Health Organization. So any vaccine that is approved by the World Health Organization, you can take it and you'll be very confident that if students are going back to China, you might not be at a disadvantage. But if you just want to make things 100% sure for you not to have maybe some complications, if you have a chance to get a Chinese-made vaccine, you will be doing yourself good. Okay, now talking about the other priorities. We think that if students want to be given priority now, if you're vaccinated, the next thing that they will look at is, when are you graduating? When are you graduating? And what do you need to graduate? Do you need to take lab courses? Do you need to go for practicals before your graduation? Someone says, is it possible to go back in March 2022? March 2022 is a whole lot of deliberation still, but I think the chances are high. But we think that maybe if they are going for March, it might not be everyone. It might be students who are awaiting graduation, who have practicals pending, students who have lab pending. I think these are the students who will be given priority. So if you have practicals pending, if you have lab work pending, maybe you're supposed to graduate by the end of next year, then once the borders are open, you might be one of those who will be given priority. You might be one of those who will be given priority. So that is what I have to say about March 2020. March 2022, sorry. Because by then, China would have gone almost 100% vaccination, which means that the vaccination level would have been at almost 100%. And the other countries would have also speeded up and almost rounding up their vaccination. So the world would have also almost be attaining herd immunity. Herd immunity. So we think that the chances for next year are really high. Modification. Will the next semester, okay, someone says, will the next semester be also online? Yeah, from all indication, we think that the next semester might still be online. Yeah, the chances are very high that the next semester might still be online. Yeah. And then we have another person saying, then when will go new students who are in first year? Okay, now students who are still in their first year, students who have never been to China, it would depend on the response of, okay, when the first group of students might go in March, it would depend on the response. What will happen if they go successfully, do their quarantine successfully, and there are no cases? Then maybe they might start taking it in a monthly basis. Say, okay, let's say in March, a group of students might come. In April, more students will come. In May, more students will come. In June, in July, in August. So you see, before September, a large number of students must have already been allowed to come to China, and they must have included new students, students who have never been to China. So you see, that is just my projection and from my observation. I'm not saying anything official here. I'm just saying it from my projection, and you can bear with me that that is what is going to happen. You can bear with me. You can see that what I'm saying is what is going to happen. Okay. Someone says, you think they're gonna give back the living stipend of all these months and scholarship for students? This question, I also asked my teacher this same question. Like, okay, what about the stipend that has been accumulated for all these 18 months? Are they gonna accumulate all this stipend and give it to students? And then my teacher just looked at me and then he laughed and told me, he didn't say anything. For real, he didn't say anything. And that answer was enough. That answer was enough, which means that the stipend that they were giving you was for your living expenses in China. So as long as you're not in China, I don't think the stipend will be given. I'm saying it from my observation. And I've asked a lot of other students and teachers from other schools, like, what about the stipend accumulated? Are they going to give it to students? Then I didn't get any official information as far as this is concerned, but to be on the safe side, don't expect accumulated stipend. For as long as you were not in China, I don't think the stipend will be given. Honestly, I don't think the stipend will be given. They're just going to give you the stipend for the period that you were in China, because that stipend is for you to survive while in China. It's for your expenses in China. But for all this period, you're not in China, you're out of the country. So I don't think the stipend will be given. Maybe they're just going to give you the stipend from when you come to China. Then they're going to start giving you your stipend. Well, I don't know. Maybe they might do something about that, but I don't have any official information as far as this is concerned. But to be on the safe side and not to expect something and then be disappointed, it's better not to. Ako Yvette, I'm very good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ako Yvette. I'm good. And you can see we're trying to talk to international students who are hoping to return to China. We're trying to spread some hope. We're trying to give them some hope not to give up. I know a lot of people who have given up. Some have found their admission. Okay, then let me also talk about something. Someone was telling me, I have an admission in another university in Europe. Someone said I have admission in the university in America and so on. And they were like, should I still continue to wait for China or I should give up? Then I told them this is a very difficult question. This is something that you can look at it from your personal perspective. Yeah, this is something that you can look at it from your personal perspective. You do your evaluation, like look at where the two countries, where the two certificates, the two universities, and ask yourself, should I forfeit this university and continue to wait on China, or I should decline my Chinese admission and continue my studies elsewhere? If you don't have any options, if you only have China, if you only have China as an option, then you only have to wait. But if you have two options, maybe you have another admission, then honestly, you should think about it again and again and see if you should decline China and continue elsewhere, or you should continue to wait. So guys, I'm so happy that we are almost rounding up. Let me see what was the last point of our conversation. Okay, we have talked about MBBS and PhD students awaiting graduation. We know that these are the students that might be considered first if China is given priority for students to return. Now we go to other related topics or anything related to our topic of discussion. Anything related. So if someone have any specific question or if someone has anything specific to talk about, please just send a message, just make a comment, or if you want to come online to share, just let us know. Because I'm almost rounding up. In the next 5 minutes, I'll be rounding up this conversation for today. Students, okay, someone says, students of 16th batch who have already graduated, will they get the degree or they have to wait? I don't understand this question. Students of 2016 who have already graduated, will they get the degree or they have to wait? If you've graduated online, if you finish your courses online and you don't have anything pending. I know students who graduated online. Like if you finish your courses online, you did your thesis online, you did your defense online, then you can apply for your degree. Everything is also done online. You can send your friend to pick up your degree for you at the university and they mail it to you. And then no need to return to China. Or if you want to come back to China to continue, if you did a PhD, a master's, and you want to come back for a PhD, then you can come back. But I know a lot of students who graduated online. They finish their courses online and they don't need to return to China. They just need to get their degrees. Someone again says, according to the requirements of CAC, to the students still living in China, the monthly living allowance will be issued continuously. To the students who have already left China, the monthly living, I don't understand. I don't understand. Normally, the CS for students who are in China, they are still receiving their monthly allowance for students who are in China. But for students who are out of China, the allowance was suspended until they return to China. Then they're going to continue getting the allowance, not like accumulated. You say, allowance will be postponed for the time being and resume when the students come back after receiving the back to university notice. That is, the due allowance of the gap month will be made up. CSC students, due allowance for the gap month will be made up. I don't understand what you mean, which means that, can you clarify it again? This might give some more light to students, because as far as I know, CSE students who are in China, they're getting the allowance as normal. CSE students who are out of China, they're not getting any allowance. And until they return to China, then they can start to get the allowance. That is as far as I know. Then you say again, CSE students must follow the rules of COVID-19 prevention and control of the university and Chinese government. Whoever breaks the rule will be severely dealt. And this, yes, of course, CSE students. Okay, this is the official information. That's the official information. Let me take time to read it again. Let me read it again. According to the requirements of CSE, to students living in China, the monthly living allowance will it should continue. Of course, and to students who have already left China, the living allowance, CSE students must follow the rule. Of course, students who are not in China, they are not going to get living allowance until they return to China. Someone says, do you have any news about Pakistani student return to China in September or October 2021? Osama bin Khalid. No official information as at now. The only official information we got about Pakistan was that the embassy is gathering data to know the number of Pakistani students who are out of China who are willing to return to China. And I shared that in a whole video that I did. You can check it on my platform. I shared this in a complete video. That is the only official information that we have about Pakistan. That the government, through the embassy, is gathering information. And once this information has been gathered, then they are going to relate with the Chinese authorities to coordinate, to know the number of Pakistani students who are out of China and willing to return to China. Then they're going to do it according to priority. those who have lab, those who have practicals and so on. That is as far as I know, Osama. That is as far as I know. So I think this issue of stipend is very clearly has been clearly stated. This issue. Okay, so we're rounding up. We're rounding up. We've been able to touch all the points that we wanted to talk about for today. If someone still has something, please let us know. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. So, guys, like I said, within the week, I'm gonna keep my ears down on the ground. There is also a Twitter account. If you're someone who's using Twitter, there is also a Twitter account that I'm following about some back to China for international students. You can just search it on Twitter. The guys, they also share day-to-day information from different countries, and they were even planning to do like some campaign online. I'm gonna go to their website after this and see the results of the campaign. You can always try to follow those Twitter accounts, Facebook accounts, because a lot of other YouTubers and other social media influencers are sharing a lot of information about this. This is just to keep us hopeful. This is not to spread rumors. This is not to spread wrong information. This is just to keep us hopeful. Everything I'm doing on this platform is just to keep us hopeful and just to let you understand that 6 months can be 6 days. It depends on how you use this 6 months. If you use the 6 months of just sitting and looking at your phone and waiting for the time to come, you're going to realize that the 6 months will be a very long time. But if you engage yourself in doing other things, empowering yourself, doing your online classes, you're going to realize that before you know it, the 6 months will be over. So just engage yourself. You're in your country, try to engage yourself in some productive activities, try to just be useful around your community. Before you know it, 6 months. Before you know it, it's March next year. So guys, we've been on for over 45 minutes. I usually plan not to talk for so long, especially as we didn't have someone to come on. So I'm rounding up. I'm rounding up. So we've talked, let me just see the things that we've talked about today. We've talked about the news from Henan University, and I made it clear that this news from Henan University was just gathering data. It was not some official information that was saying that students are resuming or are returning to China very soon. This news was just gathering data. Then we talked about Pakistani student data collection. Also, the case of Pakistan, the embassy is just gathering data to know the amount of students who are out to prepare them and to prioritize students when the embassy when the borders are open. Then we've also talked about online classes for MBBS measure. This issue of online classes, we made it very clear that students who are doing MBBS, your certificates are valid, your online classes are valid. I did my research and I shared with you guys. You can see I did a whole video to talk about this topic. Online classes for MBBS students are absolutely valid. We've also talked about MBBS and PhD students who are awaiting graduation, that if the borders are open today, priorities will be given to those who are awaiting graduation, those who have lab pending, those who have practicals pending. Then we've also talked about the issue of stipend for university students, that those who are out of China might not get their stipend until they return to China, as those who are in China will continue to get their stipend. So guys, we've covered all that we plan to talk about for today. So I really want to thank you guys so much for joining the stream, at least. And then I say it again, the aim of this live stream is just to share information from different countries, from different universities, from different embassies, and so on. So you're watching me from wherever you're watching me from the world. I want to thank you so much for joining the stream. I'll see you in our next stream. Thank you so much, and bye-bye. And I wish you all the best. Just keep yourself useful and keep yourself productive. Before you know it, it'll be over. So thank you guys so much, and bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for joining.